Welcome back to another episode of Radio Rambles. This is episode 5. This is all part of the CFL 40th anniversary that's coming up. And CFL, the force behind LegendFM. Today I have the pleasure of interviewing Maria Turaga, who was on LegendFM back in the day, and she's going to tell us her story. Good morning, Maria.
Oh, good morning, Victoria. Thanks for having me on.
I'm excited about this. So could you just tell us, when you were on air, the periods you were on air, and what show you hosted?
Yeah, so I think, I can't remember now, but I think it was 2007 to about 2010. And I went through, I think started on the graveyard shift, which everybody, I think, starts from, and moved to the Quiet Storm, and then eventually joined Alex on Breakfast. And I had the privilege of being trained by Paul Takala, and it was such a just a gift to be able to work with these people who I'd listened to on radio, these radio legends like Paul Takala and Sarah Seravato, and then eventually I think Daitusi John during CFL. It was just really lovely to
Oh, nice. So jumping straight into it, what's the most bizarre thing you've ever said live on air, or by accident?
Yeah, I can't remember now, but I think everything I said was bizarre. I was at that point. I'd sort of come out of a breakup, and I was trying to find myself in the world, and I think I was having a mental health crisis, and I came on radio, and then I was really young, and I was trying to sort of find my fit, try to be funny like the funny people, and you just sort of find myself. So did a lot of the mouth shooting off before the thinking happening, and all that kind of stuff going on, and and then having to make peace with that now, make peace with that afterwards, and even now, as I'm much older now, making peace with that kind of, my younger self.
Oh, well, we're all trying to still make peace with our younger selves, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So before your show, did you have any pre-ritual, weird rituals that you had to do before your show?
No, I didn't. To be honest, I think Alex was the driving force for the show, and he would sort of set the tone, and he'd been doing it for a long, long time, and he's a very gifted radio personality, and so I was sort of fortunate to share that space with him in the morning for however long it happened, and so we'd have chats beforehand and stuff like that, but That's about it. Yeah, I didn't have any rituals of my own. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
None that I can remember now. Yeah.
What's one song that you loved at first, but now you can't stand it because you played it too much on air?
So I'm gonna just answer this, but sort of just to in the context of the time.
Okay.
In 2025, I have Spotify on my phone. I can listen to whatever, whenever, how many times I want. And I remember around that time, my favorite song at the time was, it's still one of my favorite songs, but The Heart Is Not So Smart by El DeBarge. And I used to try and sneak it into the logs. I used to try and call up if I was, at home drinking. We'd try and call up, call the end of this shift and the start of that shift, asking them to play it, and I might have got hauled into the program director's office at the time for doing that.
Oh no,
Charles Taylor. I remember one morning he said to me, "Do you want me to put this on a CD and give it to you?" Put it. But that song, it's calmed down now because I have it. I found that as soon as I had access to playing it on, because it's on Spotify now, I'm not interested. I love the song still, but that thing's gone away. So yeah.
Man, can you describe a strange caller, strange maybe listener messages that you got while you were on air?
And like I said, I can't remember now. It's such a long time ago. But such a long time ago. But I had to get used to walking in town. One thing that I had to get used to was walking in town and having random people come up and talk to me about stuff that had been said. But talking like we were friends from somewhere.
Yes.
I had to get used to that. After a bit, I learned to just pretend sort of lean into the conversation like that, because I think that's not naturally my personality. But I had to. It was like a bit shocking the first couple of times it happened. But yeah.
Looking back now, what's one unexpected life skill you gained from your time in radio that still comes in handy today?
Yeah, I think speaking in public.
Oh.
Speaking in public and learning to, whenever I speak in public, learning to leave what I've said alone, not trying to analyze it and things like that. Because I have sometimes it can, have a lot of shame around stuff that I've said or whatever. So I've learned to do that. I think I started to develop it from working in radio, just saying what you say and leave it alone. Don't try and analyze it. So that's one skill. Another skill is an unexpected kind of interest, has been learning about, because I only kind of knew songs, I'd listen to songs and then learning about the stories behind the songs or the, the artists and their own journeys and things like that, and it's I've had the privilege now of being able to see a lot of artists whose songs I'd heard on radio, seeing them live in concert, like Matchbox 20 and Sheryl Crow. I met Big Runga 2 years ago. I met her. I saw her twice, but I had the privilege of meeting her, and and I said to her, "Oh, Big, your song Sway was big in Fiji."
Yeah.
She's like, "Oh, really?" Yeah, so cool. Just seeing so many artists because of that thing now, that I had to do. I remember one year doing the top 500, I think it was called. I can't remember what year that was, but doing a lot of research into the songs, the backgrounds of the songs. It was so good. Yeah, it was so good.
What was one crazy moment in CFL for you?
Oh, lots of crazy moments. CFL's been, it's just, when I look back at it, such a wonderful place to work. I know I was, like a young adult, and I just want to acknowledge, Charles Taylor. He was so kind, and I bet I wasn't the only sort of crazy young adult coming up in CFL, and these, the management team and William and everybody, but I had a lot of interaction with Charles because he was our program director at the time, and he was so kind. He was so kind, and he was kind to me, and I have a lot of gratitude for that. Like as an older person today, just reflecting on my time there. So many wonderful people like Doris, who I think is sales manager, or sales director, and just Loretta and Ian and. Just some really wonderful people there, looking out for the youngsters that were there at the time. Yeah, I was drinking. I was drinking heavily at the time, so there was a lot of craziness around, that as well, and just being handled really gently. I'm pleased to say I'm sober now, so
yay!
Really good.
Love it for you.
Thanks.
If you could give advice to people thinking of joining the radio industry, what would you say?
Yeah, I'd say go for it. Go for it. I think it was a really unique experience. For me, it's just something that happened in my life, and when I tell people about it now, they're like, "Oh, wow, really?" And then I realize, oh shit, not everybody gets the chance to work in radio, And so I'd say go for it, give it a go, and enjoy it. It really opened up a lot of other opportunities for me. I think it's really made a mark on how I look at the world. Getting to meet people that I wouldn't have had access to had I not been in radio. So I'd say go for it. Just go for it and give it your all. Yeah.
So you said you did breakfast with Alex. Did you find it hard waking up in the mornings to catch transport to come to work?
I had I think I had my moments, but I think after a bit I learned to live in the first half of the day.
Oh, right,
And
yes.
I saved the staying up late for the weekends. Like, so by Friday afternoon I was like, yeah, ready to do all the things that we do on Friday afternoons. But yeah, it was and I have to say I enjoyed working with Alex, so it was not hard to come into the studio, and he's a lovely guy, and it's really funny, and yeah, it was a joy to work with him. So it wasn't like a struggle to get into the studios in the morning. Yeah.
Is there anything else you'd like to say to CFL, Charles, Alex, Doris that is still here?
Yeah, just congratulations, and man, 40 years, and what a gift to have shared in a small part of the 40 years, and bringing music, bringing the news, one of the things I learned in CFL, and because I saw it being practiced there, was, the priorities around what happened when, if there was a disaster, the priority was to get the news out first, and then help with the fundraising or whatever later on, that kind of focus. And I love that about CFL. It's no wonder it's so successful, and it churns out so many wonderful radio personalities and things like that. So I'm really grateful to have shared in a little part of the 40 years, and thank you to everyone, to Alex, and thank you, Victoria, and Charles, and everyone. Thank you. Just wonderful to have shared in a little part of CFL's 40 years. Happy birthday.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us today. This is episode 5 of our Radio Rambles, and it is all to do with CFL, the force behind Legend FM's 40th birthday.